Well, folks, a couple weeks ago at this point, had a pretty unfortunate conversation with the developers of OneUp, the video game reseller app that I'm building. Long and the short of it is that the expected budget for the project is going right up. Previous budget that they anticipated to build this whole thing out and get us to a MVP or minimum viable product was 85K. Well, we spent the last couple months really hashing out exactly what this thing needs to do, getting them fully on the same page with me and in my head of what I want this thing, the kind of utility I want it to be for the community and for my own personal business. And long story short, they got a fuller understanding of everything that was involved and are like, actually, our best guess is that it's probably going to be more like 105K to up to 125. So we're talking a jump of $20,000 to $40,000 for the whole project. Not the kind of news that you really want to receive on a sunny Thursday afternoon, but I do trust that it is really necessary. It's the kind of project, there are a lot of nuances, a lot of complexities, and I don't think that they're amping it up just to charge as much as they can. They do seem, the first concern that I had when they brought that up, the first thing was, is this going to be the kind of project where it's like, oh, by the way, now it costs this much. Oh, actually, it's this much. Oh, we found it, and now it's this much. They said the way that they work is like, you get the initial project budget. I can't possibly expect that to be a concrete thing when all they know is the general idea of the project. You spend the first part of it really sussing out all the details and them estimating out, okay, we need this many hours for this and this and this and this, the account creation and the user interface and the search return results and the how different pages relate to each other. That's all going to take this many hours and cost you this much. At this point, they've arrived at what they're very confident will be the final budget. I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you posted if it does end up going up again. This is, I think, just an unfortunate part of the game, when you're building something big, whether it's a house or an app. There are going to be unexpected things that come up, and I did plan for that somewhat in advance. How am I going to account for this? Well, we've got $50,000 saved right now for OneUp. I'm going to pull, I have some personal investments on the side that, are supposed to be long-term. It's a loan to a friend's business, but they're in a great place, so I'm going to take that out, which I didn't plan on having to do, and that'll be another 30 that we'll be able to put in the savings pot this month. The other 40 or so, I'm going to have to come up with in the next couple months, which means that in addition to operating costs of the business, we'll have to make in the next couple months at least 40K in profit. A tall order, to say the least. Worst comes to worst, I think they would put me on a payment plan, especially if we're talking the last 40K in a 80K, 120K potentially budget. But that's kind of where we currently are financially. And the biggest problem, it's a good thing, but it's also a problem, is that in the last couple months, you guys may know, I have initiated a buy list program at Phoenix Resale, distributed it to all of our reseller friends saying, hey, these are the games, this is the list of games that we pay the best for. Send us as many of them as you want, and we'll get you paid, and we can both be happy. The only problem is I neglected to estimate how popular that buy list would be, and it's probably easier for me to just show you rather than tell you. All right, folks, so this is what it looks like here today at Phoenix Resale. These are all boxes from buy list orders of just this week. You can see our shelves are packed. We've got more product that we can hardly even get through. Spanky's been doing a great job just, getting through stuff. We've got stacks of bagged games over here. We're halfway through shipments over there. And long story short, this is all awesome. This is all so good for regular resale business. The only problem has been, hey, oh, by the way, there's Spanky back there. You don't have to stand over here. You can, don't let me interrupt you.
Oh, this is what I do during the day.
He's at his regular post. normally this is so good. The only problem is our spending has been, because the buy list is growing so fast, our spending is outpacing our earnings, right? Because as you guys know, when you're selling on Amazon, it takes a solid like 4 to 6 weeks from when something sells to actually get paid for it. Not to mention, like when we're sending this stuff out, it'll probably be like a week or two before it actually goes live in the warehouse. Then we have to wait for it to sell. Then we have to wait to get paid on it. And it's just the problem that has arisen is that the money's not coming back fast enough. So how are we actually addressing that so that hopefully October, November, December are profitable enough to close that gap of what OneUp is going to take to build? Well, for one thing, I've reduced slightly the buy list prices for November. In general, I'm going to try to keep those really consistent, but I want to kind of organically turn the nozzle down a little bit so that we don't run out of money. The other big thing is, thankfully, this week, sales have been incredible. And I think they're going to likely continue to be a little bit higher than we have seen so far since we are coming into Q4. And so doing a ton of shipments like this and getting all of the money off of those shelves and into the Amazon warehouse, that's going to be our primary focus, not just today, tomorrow, but for the coming weeks, and getting as much of that, dead money that's just sitting to active money in Amazon's warehouse, and then eventually to real money in the savings account for OneUp is the general plan. And all this is made more complicated by the fact that the secret OneUp feature, the feature that I have been holding off talking about at all up until this point, was having a digital version of the buy list available through the app. And the idea was, since this would be on the reseller tier and a paid feature, to offer prices that are even higher than what we have on our current paper slash, Google Drive, Google Sheet buy list. So that it's for sure, even if you've already been doing business with us through the regular buy list, it's an easy net positive for everybody to switch over to digital because the prices are better on there. And I'm thinking about also offering prices on PS1 and original Xbox games, which we currently don't on the buy list as it stands right now. The problem is, if we launch OneUp and it's sort of down to the wire, we've scraped together enough cash for the development of the app and we don't have a whole lot left over, we can't in good conscience offer prices that I really would want to at launch if we don't have a significant bankroll to cover as much as people would want to send. So I'm exploring a couple of potential options here. Because here's the thing, something about me, I don't want to take on outside investment. This whole thing, like I have people suggesting to me to like get loans, and I have plenty of credit. I could get one through Amazon, I could get it through the bank. I have friends that I could get it from, whatever. I don't want to do that. I'm anti-debt just in general. I'm not saying no one else should use it. I'm just saying, like, as a philosophy, I don't want that kind of weight on my psyche that I have to pay someone their money back before I can actually start taking profit for the business, etc. So the goal of these next few months is not only going to be to make money for the business, it's not only going to be to make the extra $40K for OneUp development costs, but it's also going to be to make money in addition to that if we possibly can. I don't know if this is actually in the realm of possibility, to be able to launch the buy list on OneUp as soon as possible, because I'm not going to launch it unless we definitely have the funds to get everyone paid. And more importantly, like, there's no world in which like I wouldn't pay people, but there is a world in which we would have to turn down to decrease our buy list prices on there. Like maybe we launch with prices up here and then the following month, because it does follow a monthly schedule so people know like exactly how much and how long they're going to be able to get a game for $15. It's possible that like maybe we would launch in January with prices where I want them to be and then get flooded with a ton of orders, and then February's prices have to be significantly lower so we don't get as much stuff in because cash flow has shrunk. I would like to be able to keep prices relatively high and relatively generous, close to the margins that we could theoretically pay. To be honest, I don't know what the bank account is going to look like. You know what I'm actually realizing literally as I'm thinking about it, processing this right now, is that there's really only one solution, because the way I see it is like a buy list price is a promise that like for that month, you can send this to us and you are going to get paid. And I think the only responsible thing to do that fits my model of under promising and over delivering is, even though I wanted to start One Up out with a bang in terms of buy list prices and really impress people and really get them hooked on the system of like, okay, I scan a game in a store, here's what I could net on eBay, here's what I could net on Amazon, and here's what Caleb or One Up would pay for me if I just throw it all in a box and send it to them. And the invoice will be generated for us and whatever. I love that business model. I don't think it would be responsible to come out the gate with our best prices. So I think what's going to have to happen is we start out, and we already have lowered like our normal buy list prices for November to a more modest, reasonable level. Probably going to start out at a lower level that is very easily attainable for whatever the launch month is, probably January, and then gradually work our way up from there rather than ever backpedaling and saying, oh, actually, we can't pay that much. That's, as I'm talking about it, what you guys can almost certainly expect to see from the launch month of One Up, and I'll keep you guys posted as I, continue to chew on that. Like, why am I rambling about all of this to you guys right now? Because I don't really know. This is where my mind is. I've never been in a point in the business, not never, but it's been a long time, basically since, the first year or so of reselling first time, that I've had to think about cash flow this much. And I guess this is just kind of the reality of what building an app like this entails. So I'll keep you guys posted.